Hi, I'm Luke Servelt. Welcome to another episode of Meet the Gaffer. In fact, this is the 150th episode. Great opportunity to say thank you to everybody. Thank you to you, the viewer, to subscribers, to responders that make this community work, to folks who are patrons through Patreon. I know I kind of suck at Patreon, but thank you anyway. And it comes at a good time because we're getting ready for Cinegear 2019 in LA. And that'll be next weekend. You know, it's May 31 and 1. It sort of starts before that and kind of keeps going after that with other master classes and stuff. But I'm only going to go on the Saturday, on the June 1st, because I'm working up till then. And Alan and I are actually being given a little time slot on that Saturday afternoon between 3 and 4 p.m. in a little park that's next to the Paramount Theater. There's a little shaded green area that's near the fence, I think, you know, towards the street by the Paramount Theater. And we'll be hanging out there. You can come by if you're, you know, kind of done seeing everything at the show and want to stop by, say hello. Maybe you've got some lighting questions. Maybe you want to talk about, you know, career moves that you're thinking about. Maybe you want to talk about, anything, you know, work-life balance. We'll be the answer guys. Not that we have all the answers, but, you know, we've been around a little bit and we'd enjoy meeting you and, you know, just keeping this community real. And, you know, it's nice to talk through the internet, but why not meet in person too? So if you happen to be at Cinegear, which is a great place to go if you haven't been, just to see all the manufacturers out there showing their new stuff and also checking out some great seminars. It's a fun place to go, and being on the Paramount lot just makes it more fun as well. So see the high-end stuff, dream big, come out and meet and greet. If we see you throughout the day, hey, great, let's take selfies, and then maybe we'll meet up afterwards, and I might have a couple giveaways as well. So yeah, that's coming up. All right. Hey, I'd like to recommend another channel. It's called Gaffer and Gear. It's Andrew Locke. It's a Gaffer in Melbourne, Australia, and he reviews gear. And he has these wonderful hacks, you know, just like gear hacks, just small things that you're like, oh yeah, brilliant. So anyway, check him out. He's a lot of fun. And of course, you probably already know about Grip Tips. You know, just Dave Donaldson does a great job of breaking down basic concepts, reviewing gear, and he does it in a really concise, sort of entertaining way and in more detail than I do. So love him. Then, of course, you know, Crimson Engine, Rubidium Wu. He's a filmmaker, so he covers the gamut. He's like, you know, gets into camera stuff, gets into lighting, gets into post, and, you know, for the full filmmaker, he's got something for everybody, and that's fun to watch. And he churns them out as well. So that's fantastic. Obviously, there's a lot more out there, but those are three that if you haven't checked them out, definitely check them out. A while back, Michael Walsh contacted me. He's a gaffer who is an expat Brit working out of Hamburg, Germany, Hamburg. And he mostly works, I think, on narrative pieces. And sometimes he comes to the States, you know, for a month, and he works around Europe. But he has developed a pan glass, a gaffer's glass he calls FaderLux. And typically what a gaffer's glass would be is a sort of a single dark glass that the gaffer would stand in the position where he wants a light directed and look at the light instead of looking at it directly and blinding yourself, looking at the light through this dark glass. And then typically when we used to use a lot more Fresnels, or at least I remember being on sets that used a lot more Fresnels. There are certainly people who use a lot of Fresnels now. I'm just not one of them. And But this past week, I was on a set with a bunch of, old style mole 10Ks and 5Ks. So it was fun to pull out the gaffer glass and, direct the spot and flood. And you can then look at the light, have an operator direct spot flood the unit to where you want it. And that's just one way of using a gaffer's glass. You can also check out when you've got sun and clouds and you're waiting for the sun to come out or the sun to go away. You can kind of look at the sun while it's behind clouds. You don't want to look at the sun directly. However, this does have protection for UV to 99%, which is beyond the requirement. So that would all be great if there was just another pan glass, but it's not. It's also a variable ND. So built in to the glass, you can spin it and bring up. It's also marked on the side, ND from 0.3 to 2.1 ND. And therefore, you can use it either as a gaffer, you can be using it to figure out your window NDs, or as a DP, you can figure out your f-stop or ND that you might want to put on your camera. So I don't know exactly how you do that as an operator, but I can certainly see how that would be useful as a gaffer. And if you're shooting black and white, then you can use a gaffer glass to help you see contrast, because then you're just looking at light and dark, and this gives you sort of another tool to make that process more reasonable. Then sort of cuts out color and away you go. Not really a tool you'd use with soft light, but with the variable ND, the fact that we still have sun and clouds, just a great tool to have out there in the world. Now I'm going to share some clips and pics from jobs I've done recently that didn't necessarily warrant a full episode, but still fun to share. So here we are on the rooftop of a corporate campus, shooting with still cameras and shooting high-speed milk with some food coloring. So we just have a mirror going through some cloth. It's not even grid or anything. And we're shooting at like 960 FPS with small Sony cameras.
Did you do 40 again? 45? Let me know when. Okay. Now. Shoot. Oh, that's cool. It turned from white to blue. Oh wait, was that the part? Is that the whole purpose? Did it finish? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I didn't hear it. No, that was the best one we've taken. It's like, yeah, so it was like dark. It was like dark blue. So yeah. The soap was pretty great. Is it my arm? Nick, you gotta move it with a 960 frame per second. Yeah. And then did you see that? And then it turns into blue. It gets really dark. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I wish it would get bluer quicker.
Well, you're right. The bottom looks better at 47. Man, that 2 megahertz.
So we started with the 300Ds as sort of scratches, but then we turned those off, and we just have the mirror as our back light and background. Here's a time lapse of a setup that we needed to do for a second time. We did it about 6 months previous, but the person that we interviewed had been let go, and so to update the video, we needed to do it again. We keyed with an 850 Celeb through an 8x and a couple layers, I think, and then for the background, the white cyc, we did that with 4x4 Kinos. So we just did it as cheaply as possible, what was available, and then there was a little bit of scratch and a little bit of fill. We also had an iDirect, poor man's Interatron, so we had to light the interviewer separately and block them out.
How you doing? I'm Joe Allen, and we got called to do a mount off the front of this BMW. Having not seen it prior to today, came in and took a look at some places to mount some points so that we could get the camera out in front looking back at the talent. I went and got some angle iron and cut that down last night, drilled some holes through the angle iron to put some 5/8 pins into those, and then took some hose clamps, protected the bike down here with rubber matting, and also I put wood shims to make sure the steel didn't dig in, and then hose clamped around that. These became secure points, and we made sure that we wanted to stay away from this paint, which is super sensitive. It's a very expensive and old vintage bike. And then from there, once we got everything tight, and then we just set the camera at the height and desired position for the talent and rigged it from that point forward. So now we're going to take it out on a test run on surface streets at about 20 miles per hour and get about 20 seconds of footage, and then come on back.
And I hope to see as many of you as possible at Cinegear 2019 in LA in a week. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time. So just another note about Cinegear, a little backstory. My original pitch to the folks who run it was, could we have a venue where we could hold a Gaffer roundtable? The last couple of years going to Cinegear, people stop me. I've been taking selfies with folks, and that's wonderful, getting to know the people who watch and subscribe and respond. But I kept thinking, there are highly respected leaders of their field, gaffers that have so much knowledge and experience. Wouldn't it be great to get those guys in a room? Just a couple of them, like from features, from episodics, location episodic television, television that's shot on stages, even at Paramount, like a sitcom, commercials, and corporate, and have those folks in a little round table, and then I could just moderate that, be the host, and spread the questions around. I think that'd be a fascinating experience. They had a little place for us on Friday, but Alan Steinheimer and myself, we couldn't make it down, so we can only be there on Saturday. They said, hey, we've got a place outside in this little park, and I'm like, okay, is there sound reinforcement? No. Well, then let's change the makeup of the event. And so now we've got sort of a meet and greet. And yeah, I think it's a great compromise. It's a good start. Maybe in years to come, we can do something that's a little more formal and a little more depth. But there you go.